Hello there, Medicine here, and this is a video DIY on doll eyes. So, I'm going to take you step by step on how to make doll eyes out of polymer clay and acrylic paints and other little supplies that you can easily find at like your craft store. I need tea, personally. This is my favorite fuel for creativity. Some sculpey modeling tools that help me mold things. Sculpey clay. Sculpey brand clay, but you know, polymer clay. It doesn't matter what brand you use, whatever your preference are. Doll eyes, so that I have something to compare it to for size-wise. A tile, and I'll explain everything as I go. Paintbrushes, paints, this is a gloss, and this is Glossy accents, which is like a dimensional gloss. And some face wipes, or hand wipes. Okay, I apologize for the weird whirring sounds in the background. My neighbor decided that today would be the best day to mow the lawn, and there's nothing I can do about that. First, the tile. Now, with my polymer clay, I make polymer clay charms. And when I make these, I do it on tile, and it's because it's a great work surface that is kind of easy to clean, but it's also, this particular type of tile, ceramic, is easy to go into the oven. So what I do is I make my clay charms right here, and I take the whole tile and put the whole tile into the toaster oven. So it's not like, it doesn't disrupt my charms a bunch of times. Now when you work with polymer clay, or any clay for that matter, it's very easy to get dust and dirt and any kind of anything that's on your hands or on your surface into the clay. So I try to keep wipes nearby to keep everything nice and clean. I have some white clay here, which is the base for our eye. Alright, so white clay, or whatever color clay that it is that you want to do your eyes in. If you're wanting to do crazy fantasy color eyes, like with the blacks instead of white, then go ahead and choose a different color clay for that. And this, I'm just working the clay because I want it to be nice and warm with my hands, so that it's easy to kind of mold and form into the shape that I want. So once that's like all blended and warmed up and moldable, I will try to shape it into even parts so that I have the same size eyes. Let me see. Alright. Now, I'm going to try to start off with the same amount of clay in each little thing so I can have the eyes the same size. And then roll them into balls. This is just rough little balls. They don't have to be perfect just yet. I'm doing this a little bit roughly so that I can just get the right size compared to my current eyes, and I'll shape them a little bit more once I get the size down that I need. Okay. Comparing the eye to the clay, it's good. It's good. That can be okay. This one's a little big. I'll pinch off a little bit and just kind of to even out the clay so they're all equal. So I'm going to make 4 eyes today. And I get these tutorials from somewhere else. I'll put the links below. Now I'm really working the clay and trying to make sure that it's nice and round, and all the air bubbles and anything that's in there is out, so that it has a nice shape. And then I'll show you what I'm going to do. I am going to make little stems on these eyes. I just grab an eye and pinch it. See, pinch it at the back. Kind of flatten that. And then flatten it on the surface like this. And do that to all of them. And just pinch a little bit of it and kind of flatten it. Against the tile. That's the other thing I like about using tile, because it's a smooth, even surface. It'll make it keeps the clay very flat if I need it very flat. Pinch it. And flatten it. Now once I get all of these pinched and flattened, I will try to shape them a little bit more to make sure that they keep the same size, width, circumference, and I'll smooth it out a little bit. Now the reason I want stems is twofold. One, it's because when you put the eyes in the doll, it helps you position the eyes. It's something to hold on to position inside the doll's head. And two, which I didn't mention in my supplies, I have a little block of styrofoam and these little like sculpey needles. They're not really needles, but little spires. And when I paint these and let them dry, I will actually stick them into the styrofoam, and I'll show you what I mean. So now I'm smoothing out the back, kind of giving it a nice shape, defining it, flattening it a little bit. I don't want it to be too big, because here's the other thing. You don't want your stems to be too huge, because inside the doll's head is the S-hook, and it could get in the way of the S-hook if you make the stems too big. But I will use my eye to make sure that it didn't get too big. Good. Okay. And I'll reform the eye just into a nice shape, the shape that I want. And I leave the top of the eye flat. I want it to have a nice flat kind of surface for the front of the eye, and that's because I'm going to paint that, and I'm going to actually use the glossy accents that I showed you earlier to add a dimensional kind of dome to the glass eye to give it like a three-dimensional look inside the doll. Now you can make it fully round and just paint it round and then just gloss your sculpey and still have that nice surface, but I'm trying to do it clear so that it catches the light really well. But that's just me experimenting. Alright, so I'm done with the whites. Now I'm going to get my black sculpey clay. Now with the black, because this is the pupil, I just need a really, really tiny little bit. Oh man, this is nice. Alright, so I got a nice little, what I did is I made a little cane, like a little snake, and then I cut it into even parts, 4 little even parts. And I'm going to place this on the center. It needs to be a little smaller. And this is our little pupil, so I'm just going to kind of stick it on there. And then I'm going to flatten the eye, like so. Now it may seem like these pupils are really, really big, but I'd rather them be too big than too small because I'm going to be painting and I want some extra room to kind of paint the iris color on. Flatten. Oh, that's really big. Let's make these a little bit smaller. Try to do it right in the center. flatten it. Yeah, good. Alright, and so there you have the clay part of the eye. So I'm gonna get my oven preheated and go ahead and bake these so that they cure according to the package directions. So whatever clay you're working with, just read your packaging and follow those directions for baking. And when we come back, we will be painting it. And I almost forgot to actually do this. But I want to put little holes in the back of these. There we go. Just sort of little holes in the stems. Oh, they're good. Okay, and then we'll come back and we'll paint. Alright, these are nice and cool, and they're done. And as I was saying before, I put those nice little holes in them so that I could stick them into the styrofoam like so. I'm just painting the iris that's around the pupil. And then once I'm done with this, I'm going to let them dry. And once they're dry with the first coat, I'll see if they need like a second coat of the coral. And maybe touch up the pupil a little bit, where I might have not made it as nice and round after adding the paint. Okay, so now that the eyes are painted, I'm going to apply a gloss, which I use triple thick, but you can use any kind of gloss that's good on sculpey clay. They have different brands for polymer clay, depending on the brand of clay that you use. So feel free to use whatever you want, and I'm going to apply the gloss on everything that's been painted, and just to the eye to make it more shiny, like a glassy eye. This gloss will help seal the paint and add a nice shiny finish to the eye. And then just let it dry. It'll be all glossy and shiny and look very nice and finished, and it'll have like a very nice professional look once it's dry. And technically you could probably use the eyes just like this with the gloss and let that be that. But After this is done drying, I'm going to add the dimensional gloss to the top of the eye to try to give it that dome shape. So this is going to dry for a little bit, and then we'll be back. Alright, the gloss is dry, so now I'm going to add the dimensional gloss to give it that dome effect on the top of the eye. That's not going at all how I imagined it would. Now, like I said, I'm going to let this dry. I'm just not going to touch it, not going to move it, not going to do anything for, like, I don't know, 6 hours, 6 to 8 hours. It really says that it only takes about an hour or two, or 3 hours according to this, for it to dry. But because it's such a condensed amount of it, I'm just going to let it be for maybe 6 or 8 hours. And hopefully when it's dry, it'll look good. We'll just give it time, and I'll see you when it's all done. We'll see how they turn out. Hopefully that helps you guys. The eyes are completed, and I'm going to post pictures of them because that's actually going to show way more details than I can actually do with the video. And I'm going to put them into Luciana's head, which is the doll that I'm actually doing this all for, and take pictures of that as well, so you can see kind of how they turn out and just all that cool stuff. So here you go, here's some pictures. So good luck to you if you decide to try this, and if you want to talk about it, post your results, or do videos, responses of your results with this kind of method, feel free to do so. And as I said before, I'm putting the links to a couple of the tutorials that I got this idea, the inspiration for this idea from, in the description below. And so thanks so much for watching, and good luck to all of you, and have a beautiful, wonderful time. Bye!